Welcome to the Armchair GM Podcast.
What a fucking debacle that was.
Yeah, there were so many things to dislike about how that game went from start to finish.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I thought they played pretty good except for the power plays. And kind of like Matt's saying here, it's a good thing we didn't play Parak. His attacking flair and scoring ability has no place in this lineup. Yeah. That's a lot of sarcasm right there. Chris, you should turn your light on.
I should turn my light on?
Yeah.
Am I dark?
I can't see it at all.
That was by design.
Oh, yeah, I know. Everybody's thankful.
Yeah, fine.
But I was thinking that the whole way through because the Flames power play has been doing this for fucking years. It didn't do it that one year with the Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Lindholm line, but they all stay on the outside, and whenever somebody drives through, they just drive through. They don't like get in and stand there and cause any havoc or anything. They drive through to the other board, and then they just stand at the other board.
Yeah, they just fly by, right?
Yeah, they just stand fucking still, completely still.
Yeah.
And you see it like I like you notice it specifically the other day we were playing Colorado. You saw their power play, and they all converge slowly on the net as a group as they're moving it on the outskirts. They all slowly move in closer and closer and closer, and that causes havoc and that causes panic and makes scoring opportunities more high danger. And the Flames just don't do that. They're happy to. I mean, they had 6 power plays and they had one-timer opportunity. One. How fucking trash?
6 power plays. Yeah.
6 power plays.
Yeah, the second to last power play they had, it was like a minute and a half before they even potentially set up to even start on the power play. Like it was really disgusting.
Yeah, it was bad. Like Matt says, you'd figure on 6 power plays, you'd accidentally score at least once. I mean, in order to accidentally score at least once, you'd have to funnel the puck like somewhere close to the net. But
yeah, you'd have to get it into play in their zone with potentially 20 seconds worth of sustainable pressure. Maybe if we had James Neal, we could have him there and the puck can deflect off his ass and in the net. Maybe that's what we should do. Sign James Neal.
I'd rather have Yager.
Fair. Fair. I mean, I'd rather have a lot of things over James Neal, but
yeah.
Hey,
Chuck, what's going on, bud? It's Mike. At least it's golf season. I don't know. I don't think we're eliminated.
We're not. I mean, no. Mathematically, no. But if this is the kind of effort we're going to see from a team that's trying to push for a playoff spot, you might as well just start booking tee times.
Absolutely, and I think we've been eliminated for like in spirit. We've been eliminated for a few games. Like they've been playing well, but there hasn't been much of a chance for a little while. Knowing Huska, he won't put Parekh in yet. Yeah. And I get that. Most NHL coaches are like that. When they're close to the playoffs, they go with the guys they trust instead of the new guy. They don't really know how that guy's going to play. But to me, Parekh plays with like whether he's going to be effective in the NHL or not. I'm pretty sure he will. But the one thing that he does really well is the one thing the team desperately fucking needs. And that's offensive flair. It's willingness to take a chance to make some offense, and he moves the puck quickly. I don't know, like I get why coaches are like that, but personally, if it were my choice, he'd be in, even if you're scratching Lomberg or scratching Rooney and finding a different way to fuck with your centers and make that work, like and doing 11-7. You got to get this kid in because he's got the skill that nobody on the team has. And like, as much as we love Weegs is not he's not great at the power play. He's okay at the power play. He's not great at the power play. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, I mean, there has to come a point where you just decide to bring in the youth movement to rejuvenate something. We need something to happen right now with their energy levels, with their compete levels, with their, and quite frankly, their give a shit levels. Right, the defense has struggled for a large portion of the season. There's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, to not bring him in there. There really isn't. I mean, he could play over Bean. He could play over Uyghur. He could play over Anderson. Like, just get him in the lineup.
I agree, and like, I'm not all for feeding him 5-on-5 minutes. Like, you can give him, you can play him like he's not Tony DeAngelo. He's not a piece of shit, but play him like teams play Tony DeAngelo. Play him 10 minutes, 12 minutes, very sheltered minutes, and then play him on all 6 power plays. First over the boards on the power plays.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's going to hurt? Is it going to make our power play look worse? There's no chance of that.
Nothing's going to make our power play makes worse.
The only thing that's going to make it look worse is if he has a defensive blunder at the line and we give up a breakaway.
Yeah. Who's great at our power play right now, Fraggle? Honestly,
the opposing team's goaltender.
Zeri's shitty knee is better than every single person on our power play.
Wow. Yeah, there's nothing on the power play. Absolutely nothing.
Matt's cranky about the loss. Yeah, I think we all are, because we were in full control. And like, I'm curious, Chris, because you're I wouldn't say you're skeptical of Wolf, but you're more willing to criticize him than most people are. Was that on Wolf?
I mean, I'm not going to say it was on Wolf, but he didn't have a good game.
No, and the thing, like
he got beat. He got beat by shots.
Yeah, which isn't what he's usually beat by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that was a tying goal where when he slid over on his belly. He doesn't normally do that. I don't know why he was on his stomach. Every time you see him make his, holy shit, he got over type of save, he's on his knees, he's sitting upright, and he makes a save. That time he slid over on his belly and threw his arm up. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work for him. So I'm not sure where his head was at tonight. It wasn't. It was one of his worst games of the year. Really, he's
had a couple of stinkers. He's had less stinkers than pretty much any other goalie in the league, but this wasn't a good game for him. Which is funny because I thought last game he was very good. And don't get me wrong, he still made a couple of great saves tonight, especially in the first period. He right at the end of the first period, I believe it was a shorthanded attempt.
That was
really,
nice.
really nice cross crease leg save, but he should have had one or two of those shots out of the 3. Yeah. I think it was the 3 last shots. No, it was 2 of the last shots of the game. But yeah, it was pretty rough to watch. Where are we here?
I don't think
Probably
Parek's
have.
lacking confidence, is he?
What's that?
I jumped ahead on a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, go here. Do you think we win on Friday against Minnesota?
I don't know, man. I mean, if they have Gustafson in that, which they will, in my opinion, Fleury's pooched. I don't know if you saw, but they won 8-7 in overtime today. Both Celebrini and Eriksson Ek had hat tricks, and I believe Kaprizov had 4 points or something like that. Like it was a nuts game. I'm excited to watch the highlights because I haven't watched them. I'm going to watch the game recap after we're done this. But yeah, I don't know if we can outgun that team when they're at full strength like they currently are.
Well, clearly. I mean, they had a couple of guys come back into the lineup that just not only did they pick up where they left off, like they were really good. Like 4 goals? You shitting me? Like you don't come off injury and then slide into the lineup and get 4 goals. Like that's
no, and even Kaprizov too. Like he was a Hart contender before he went down, and then he went down for like 3 months, or I think he went down for a month, came back for 2 games, sucked, and then went back out for a couple months, and he came back and he looked like that player he was for the first month and a half of the season, where he was the single best player in the league. He's looking like that again already.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's definitely a game breaker, but I mean, I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. They were playing San Jose, and they also they gave up 7 goals to San Jose.
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, obviously they look good. They scored 8 goals, but you know what I mean. Like, I think against most teams in the league that they lose that game by 3 goals.
I don't know if they lose it. If Fleury's not
if they're letting in 7 goals, then I say against most other teams, because you got to see they're likely going to give up those 7, but they're not going to score the 8, right?
I don't know if they'll give up that 7 if it's not Fleury in that. I think Fleury's just done.
Yeah, I mean he's got what 3 games left in his career, so we'll let it slide for now, I guess.
Yeah, like they were on the broadcast, they were calling it Fleury's last home start of his career.
So I mean, is what it is. I suppose if they're fighting for their playoff lives as well, they're likely not going to give Fleury any more games either, right?
Yeah. Jocker says it's not on Wolf. Tuck says the team structure collapsed in front of him. I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing the team structure, honestly, almost every game. Very rarely do they actually have structure that they hold to. Today, the last 10 minutes of the game was just worse than usual.
Yeah. Worse than usual. That's was it though? I don't know that it was worse than usual. We just didn't have that really good goaltending to bail us out.
That too, but I do think it was a little worse than usual, but
we scored more goals than our average. So I mean, there's that, I guess. I'm trying to find a positive. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really, really tough after giving up, those 2 goals in 9 seconds. It's so disheartening.
Yeah. I don't know why Fraggle changed her name. It was Alice with Chains. She's in here a lot, but or no, it wasn't. Sorry, that's somebody else. I'm losing my mind.
Holy.
Do you guys
Fraggle just hasn't been with us for a while. Come on, leave Fraggle alone.
Do you guys honestly think it's a good idea to throw Parekh in when he's lacking that confidence, though? Is Parekh lacking confidence? Like, I don't know. Did you?
I don't see why.
Did you see his interviews the last couple days? Like, he's not lacking confidence, and also his like, he got a point on almost every Saginaw goal. And he's a defenseman in their playoff run. Like, he got a point on almost every goal that they had, and he's a defenseman. And they scored a lot. They just got scored on more. I don't know. I'm not usually for throwing guys in on the deep end like that, but I think this kid has proven that he's so far and away too good for the OHL. And don't get me wrong, you could argue that there's two levels, you know, the AHL and college, that are both better than the OHL. But I think that Zane Parekh would step into the NHL. He wouldn't be 100-point player, but he could step into the NHL and be an impact maker on a team that doesn't have a good power play. That's the thing. You don't have to play him in defensive minutes and that many defensive minutes. If you just play him on the power play, am I saying we would have scored on the power play? I don't know, but I don't know. Did you guys watch that? That was miserable power play performance right there.
Yeah, it was very bad. The one thing I will push back on a little bit, and I'm not slighting Parekh at all, but you do remember the camp, right?
Oh, absolutely, I remember the camp.
Right.
Yep.
So
it wasn't good.
I mean, obviously, in the lower league ×2 that he was in, he was dominant, absolutely
way
dominant.
Too good for it.
Yep. But I'm gonna need to see him play some games. I want to see him play games, but before I start going, fuck yeah, Parekh, I need to see some games, because he was not good at all, and at camp this year. So I need to see some games at the NHL level, and I really hope that he busts out and can overwrite that camp and make himself a regular on the roster. I really do. But I'm gonna, I will reserve the excitement until I see it.
Yeah. Oh, and don't get me wrong, because I believe he's going to be a defensive disaster. But, like, have you seen the team lately?
Well, that's right. I mean, the defense hasn't been good, but that's also one of our concerns when it comes to Wolf's confidence too, right? And then after a game like we played tonight, I don't know if having somebody that's potentially going to be a defensive disaster is the right move for in front of Wolf for a game against the Wild with our playoff hopes in the balance.
Yeah. Well,
but
I mean, you can say our playoff hopes are in the balance, and technically they are, but yeah, I don't know. I've thought we've been pooched for for maybe a week. I've thought we've been out, but
yeah, I mean, obviously, mathematically we're still there, but yeah, I'm still cheering every goal though, right?
Yeah, Coronado with 23 goals on the season, which is a positive from the season. Absolutely, it is. And watching Coronado's release when he scores, maybe not even specifically on the goal he scored tonight, but in general, his release is so fucking crazy to watch. And I got kind of shit on the other day for saying this online, but somebody posted something asking about who his shot reminds me of. And honestly, his shot reminds me a lot of Kessel. And I know that a lot of people don't like Kessel because of this narrative that all he does is eat hot dogs or whatever. But, like, if you can eat hot dogs, if that's your diet, and you score 30 to 40 goals almost every year of your career, well, fucking eat all the hot dogs you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you can complain about Phil Kessel all you want. He is clearly peak male. He is just peak athlete. He can eat whatever the fuck he wants. He's not in shape, physically to look at, but he's been dominant in the NHL for years.
Yeah. Yeah,
Leave the guy alone.
exactly. And I really hope that like Coronado with 23 goals, and remember he didn't play the whole season. He got sent down and healthy scratched a couple
Mhm.
times, and like this kid has a lot of potential.
Mhm.
I I thought for the longest time this kid is going to be, our second line scoring winger. But there's a chance he could max out higher than that. There is a chance. I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but there's a
Yeah.
chance that like Coronado is fun to watch. And one thing I wasn't expecting, especially after watching him last year, but this year he's been working defensively, working on the boards, um, tenacious on the back check. Like this guy's all around game is fucking stellar, and the fact that he's got 23 goals already this year is icing on the cake. That this kid's gonna be something pretty special, I think.
Yeah, I think he's, obviously I'm gonna keep him roughly on the second line as kind of my cap for him as well. He's missed 5 games this year with 23 goals. Can probably throw in 1 or 2 more goals in that mix if he plays the full season. If we can get a 25 to 30 goal regularly out of Matt, friggin' A, bud. Like that's really good. Especially if he's able to just get better at his 200-foot game, play some defense, be accountable in his own zone, back on the forecheck and all that fun stuff. I didn't really like he got just outright beat on that play in overtime, right?
Yeah,
He was out hustled by
yeah,
somebody that was quicker, and
and
I didn't
honestly,
like
that
how
doesn't
he
happen often,
no, but I don't.
but it did
My
happen.
biggest thing with that play is he wasn't he just put his head down and skated. He didn't really know where he was going, and so when the Ducks player stopped to make the pass, Matt had already skated past because he wasn't paying attention to what was actually developing on that play.
Yeah,
But he'll get there.
yeah,
He was just trying to get back as fast as he can, so I understand that.
yeah, for sure. Who comes out of the lineup for Zane, Bean or Hanley? I don't think you can take Hanley out of the lineup. Like, there's nothing specifically special about Hanley's game, but he has been one of the best defensemen, if not the second best defenseman on the team for the last couple months. I would
Mhm.
not take Hanley out at all. And that actually speaks pretty badly to the rest of our team.
Yeah,
Um,
it really does. Yeah.
but Bean, absolutely. Um, if we're eliminated, Rasmus Anderson, I think, is hurt and probably gets shut down whenever we get eliminated. Um, Pahal, I've heard some people say Pahal, but he's better defensively than everyone on the team that's not Ball and Uyghur, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'd probably keep him. So probably Bean, and if we get eliminated, my guess is they sit Anderson because he hasn't been taking morning skates or practicing for a little while, so he's battling something, and he's not been good. He's been bad, quite frankly.
Yeah. That would be one of my other issues, right? If we're keeping Anderson in the lineup just because he's Anderson over a potential young defensive stud, then that's a huge mistake on Huska's part.
Yeah, which there was a coaching question here I skipped over. Don't know if I can find it again. Um, but yeah, like honestly, I don't have a problem. Oh, here, need a new coach. Um, I don't agree with that. I like every coach fucks up every once in a while. Huska's taken a team that was slated to be bottom 10 and
Mhm.
kept them in the race this long. Um, there's obviously things that I've disagreed with that he's done. There's things that everybody's disagreed with that he's done, just like any other coach. Everybody has their own opinions on their decisions. But I don't think changing the coach is like, especially if we're going into a youth movement. Huska's done well with kids, in my opinion. He's brought
Absolutely.
Zeri along well. He's brought Coronado along well. He's brought Ball, who's actually younger than you'd think, along well. He's brought Wolf along well. He's coached half of these kids. Like he coached Anderson right from junior. Yeah, I would not, unless some like crazy Hall of Fame coaches is coming, then maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't see a reason to change the coaching.
There's a reason why he got a promotion from the AHL, right? He works well with that age group. They seem to resonate with him, and so he got that promotion. I don't really see anything wrong that he's doing right now, other than some weird players slotting into the lineup while others aren't. But I don't think any of it has really cost us games.
No, I mean maybe a couple points throughout the season, but I think the amount of points that Huska's coaching and tutelage has, like the amount of points that has gained us is way far exceeding the amount of points that it's taken from us, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on if we somehow do make it to the postseason? I'm guessing she's saying. First of all, I don't think we will, but a waste of 8 days.
Oh man, just so many bad takes all around. I also don't think we're going to make the playoffs. Honestly, if there's any chance that they make it past the first round, it'll lie solely on Dustin Wolf or Dan Vladar, because he's played really freaking good in the last month or two. So I mean, I honestly think we'll see Vladar against the Wild.
I was listening to the radio today, and they were saying that they don't think we'll see Vladar unless we're eliminated. I think we should, because like last game, Wolf was really good, but there's been a few games where he hasn't looked like Dustin Wolf in the last couple weeks. And Dan Vladar honestly has been very good for the past couple months. Every start he's gotten, pretty much, he's been lights out. I wouldn't mind seeing Vladar against the Wild. I doubt they do that, just because Wolf is the goalie of the future and Vladar is the goalie of pending UFA. But
true,
I don't think playing Vladar is good for the future of the Flames. I think it's good for the present of the Flames.
Right. And so if you're coaching a team that is in dire needs of wins for your last couple of games of the season, how do you not put the goaltender that currently is playing better? If you don't do that, then as a coach, that is a problem.
Yeah, that's
it shows the room that you're mailing it in, and that's not the message that Huska should be sending to the young crowd.
Is that how you feel about Parekh too?
I'm fine with Parekh going in over Bean, because in my opinion,
play him 10-12 minutes.
Like there's really no harm, because Bean's not a world beater as a defender either, and he sure as hell isn't any sort of offensive dynamo.
If Bean was your number 7, you'd be happy. Bean's our number 5 or 6. That's not
right.
No bueno.
Well, he's our 6-7, I would say. So I mean, him and
Miromanov.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, Miromanov is a 7-8 in my opinion.
Miromanov
he can just not play for us again, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have to see him on the ice again for the rest of the season, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Matt says Coronado looks better on the Backlund line than with Kadri.
For sure.
I'm gonna try and respond to this without shitting on Kadri. Kadri is a good puck carrier. Coronado needs to have the puck.
Yeah.
Or at least touch it. Kadri often takes the puck and does everything himself with it. Coronado needs somebody who's actually going to pass him the fucking puck. So that's why Backlund is going to defer to the guy who scores more in the offensive zone, most likely. Coleman as well. Or they're going to stand in front of the net and screen the goalie and let the scoring player score.
Well, and not to mention, how many times have players come into this organization been okay, but just need something added to their game. They play 10, 15, 20 games with Backlund, and all of a sudden they're a way more complete player. They just better at the game of hockey. He is very good at teaching the youth. I mean, look what he did for Matthew Tkachuk's game.
Yep.
Playing with him for that season. He just teaches kids how to be better hockey players. And you're absolutely right. He needs to have the puck fed to him so he can shoot, because he's got a really damn good shot. And if you're playing with a Kadri, you can watch him skate circles around the offensive zone.
Yeah.
You do 2-3 laps before you might even touch the puck. That's not how you set up a guy like Matt Coronado for success. Yeah.
So I'm curious. I was thinking about this the other day. Who are the players who have got the Backlund bump and succeeded? Matthew Tkachuk, Matt Coronado, Connor Zary a little bit. He didn't play all that much with Backlund, but a little bit. Andrew Mangiapane.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Michael Frolik. He wasn't a younger guy,
but he didn't. Yeah, exactly. He didn't go on to greatness after that, though.
Well, actually, he just went on to being shit.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. He got off the Backlund line and he became nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the last few years, yeah. I mean, it probably really started with Tkachuk, right?
Well, I think Mangiapane was before Tkachuk, but then Tkachuk and then Mangiapane again.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly Mangiapane because, quite frankly, Mangiapane was fucking terrible every time he wasn't with Backlund, and then he was a serviceable middle six forward when he was with Backlund.
Yeah, for that 1 year. And then what has he done since? I haven't checked in on.
He assisted on Ovechkin's record tying goal, but he's been on the bottom line or the third line for most of the season over there in Washington. Yeah. Tuck says, "I wish we had the E next to our name so we could confirm that the kids could come in to the lineup." Yeah, like it would be nice to see Suniev get a little bump. The thing about Suniev is that he can't play in the AHL, I believe, because of when he was signed. Parekh can actually go join the Wranglers just this year. He can't play for them next year. The rules are so fucked. But Parekh can't actually go join the Wranglers next year, but Suniev can. Suniev can't this year, but Parekh can.
Yeah, it's not difficult to understand why can't you follow that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, in all honesty, like if Parekh cannot play next year in the A, he might as well just stay here so we can see what we have in him in the last 5 games.
Absolutely, and like honestly, like I don't see a world in which Perek gets sent back to the O next year. So even if he plays 50 games and is a healthy scratch for the rest of the time or whatever it may be, I don't think that's how it's going to work because the kid is smart and he'll pick it up. But
Yeah.
I can't see a world in which he's not making an NHL salary for the entirety of next season. This season, unfortunately, we're probably not going to see him until we're eliminated. Like Tuck said, if we had that E next to our name, would be great. Love to see Perek, love to see Suniev come in, possibly even see Brstevich come in, possibly even see Stromgren or Karen's, probably not Karen's, probably not Stromgren actually, because we're almost out of recalls, but
yeah, we have two, right?
Yeah, you could probably see at least one more of those kids from the A come in, plus the Suniev and Perek come in and play a game or two. And that would be great because that's what we're supposed to be doing. I would never be happy with a coach or with a hockey team that wants to tank, but this team is in a period of time where they should be playing young players more. So it would be good to see these kids play.
Yeah, it would be, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we only have 2 call-ups left, and there's only 4 games, so we're kind of running out of time. It would have been nice if we could have started doing that a week ago.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this weird sort of push to be a playoff team has hindered any sort of look that we're going to see from any of the kids. I think,
Absolutely.
Thankfully we got to see a couple of them through the season, I guess, but not enough of a look, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I would like to have seen Karen stay up for longer, especially considering he was actually producing while he was up with very, very limited ice time. But it makes sense because it makes sense why they sent him back down, because guys came back from injury and he's not eligible for waivers, and all of the other guys who were coming back were. So they didn't want to just waste, let somebody go for nothing. But
yeah, I mean, 4 assists in that 5 games. I think he's the reason why Peltier ended up becoming desirable on the trade market.
Yeah. Did you see that Justin Kirkland was the nominee for the Flames for the Masterton Award?
Really? I didn't. That's cool.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, I don't think that every team should just automatically have one. I think it should be something that like a few players, like just like every other award, a few players get nominated. And, like to me, this is like Monahan or Laine or somebody's award, but it would be very cool to see Kirkland get some recognition. And he was on the radio today talking about it. Apparently he wants to come back and play for the Flames next year as well. If we let go of Rooney, which I assume we're going to do, what do you think?
I mean,
he's 27 or 28.
Yeah, like his age is good.
And he's a 4th line center.
But I suppose it depends on if we're able to make any trades or moves this offseason, right?
Yeah, like if we move a couple
to me, you don't get rid of Rooney, or don't re-sign Rooney to bring in a Kirkland. Like, no offense to Kirkland, but if we're wanting to start the youth movement, I just think that let's start the youth movement.
No, and I totally agree. Because Kirkland gets a whole lot of props, which he deserves. He was good for us. But I don't think, like, I don't think he deserves quite all of the praise that he got. Like he was fine. He was okay. He was a fine fourth line center. But like I'll be damned if fourth line center isn't like one of the easiest things to find in free agency. If it's not an easy thing to
Yeah.
bring up from your minor team have if you don't have one on your team already type of thing, right? Like
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just don't see why we'd bring in like a 28-year-old or whatever instead of giving Karens a chance or moving things around and bringing up Stromgren and putting him on the wing or something like that next year. I think this team I like Kirkland, but I don't see like unless he's okay with being the 13th forward, that
Mhm.
I'd be okay with.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of my like. I'm not trying to be offensive towards Kirkland. Like he was okay.
Yeah, he was
He was
fine.
a cool. He was a cool story and all that. His shootouts were amazing, or right, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know, he'll be 29 next year when the season starts,
Yeah.
and we're trying to do a youth movement, and just the way it is.
Yeah.
You
Unless
know,
it's a
we
superstar, don't bring in a 28-year-old.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think we clogged up the bottom six plenty.
Yeah.
We need to let a couple of them go and start bringing up some guys from the regulars.
Yeah. Fraggle says, "Can I get a take on the Sharks game where it was said no offense to Backlund, but Kadri is the real leader of the team." Do you remember? Did you hear them say that? Did you watch that game?
Yeah. So my take on that is very simple. A a garbage American broadcast crew doesn't know the Flames organization, and unfortunately, with an unfortunate death in the broadcast community for Sportsnet, they didn't do the game that night. To me, it was a nothing burger. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of stuff like that that goes around in the states in non hockey markets.
Yeah.
They're just saying stuff to say stuff. You know, they're a fan of Kadri. I get it. Um, Kadri is not the real leader of the Flames.
I
I mean,
truly think that they
he's
looked at the
he's
stats page and they said, "Oh, that's the
exactly
leader."
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is he one of the leaders? Sure, but
Yeah.
he's absolutely not the leader of this team.
No.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I when they said it, I kind of chuckled and went, "Yeah, okay."
Credit where it's
Maybe.
due. Kadri
Yeah.
has been very good on the ice for the Flames for a
Mhm.
couple months. For the most part,
Yeah.
I don't think he was very good today, and I don't think he was very good against the Sharks. But I think for the most part, the last couple months, he's been very good on the ice for the Flames offensively. But I don't know. This is another thing I get ridiculed online for, but I don't see him as a leader. I see him as a guy who fucking dives. I see him as a guy who screams at the ref half the game. I see him as a terrible um example setter
Mhm.
for players, for young players. Like I see him as a very greedy player, although to be fair, he's been a little bit better with that lately, but yeah, I'm just not a Kadri fan, and I don't think he's a very good leader. And I think one of the worst parts of it is that everybody's like, "Oh, the way this guy is in the media." In the media, all Kadri ever does is when it's good, he's like, "Me, me, 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 me. I'm good. I played good." But when it's bad, he goes, "Oh, the team didn't play very good." He doesn't take accountability unless it's good. It fucking drives me nuts.
He's he's a type of player. I mean, yes, can he play hockey? Yes. Is he good at it? Sure. Um, sometimes he is. Um, yeah, Fraggle, that's Dylan's job anyways, so don't worry about it. Um, but as far as him being like the leader on the team, I mean, if that's what this team is choosing as a leader, that's a problem because his antics remind me of a spoiled brat teenager. Like he flies off the handle and he's always yelling at the ref and just slapping his stick and fucking. He throws tantrums. You don't
His
have
team
leaders that
won
throw
the Stanley
tantrums.
Cup. His team won the Stanley Cup. And the
Sure.
first thing he said is, I'm not a liability. Not,
Right.
oh man, awesome for the team. The team played so good. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not a liability. Like, fuck, dude.
I thought you were supposed to say I'm going to Disneyland.
Yeah. Anyways, anyone else who wants to have us talk about something, make sure you throw it in the comments down below. And while you're at it, make sure you throw a subscribe on the YouTube channel.
Subscribe on the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, did you guys see where he got the 4-minute double minor tonight? Where actually, I'm very rare does this happen, but the Flames actually came out on top of a video review. They reviewed the double minor and took the whole penalty back because it was a follow through from Klapka. And quite frankly, it was waist height on Klapka anyways. Got the guy right in the face who was standing up straight, but it was also his waist height. So it was
a weird play. Like live, I was like, eugh. It didn't look good. But yeah, when you slow it down and look at the replay, it was clearly the follow through, right?
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of high sticks, real quick, why the fuck does Radko Gudas have a fucking job? How is he a cap? Like, this guy goes around and purposely tries to hurt people and then just goes to the box over and over and over and over and over. Like, there is being physical. You can be physical and be an effective player. He's not an effective player. He's just in the box. I don't understand why they gave him the captaincy and play him all these minutes and then brought in.
That is weird.
Like, hey, let's just have the two dirtiest players in the game on the same fucking team. Wonder why we always get scored on the PK.
I mean, did they though? I mean, they seemed okay. I mean, I've always bounced him in and out of my lineup in fantasy because I appreciate the amount of penalties he takes. It's just like guaranteed points. He doesn't have to get assists. He makes more. He gives me more points in the penalty box. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think it was last year you harassed me for putting him on my team, and like he's like my third best fucking defender on my fantasy team because of his penalties.
Because of the penalties, yeah. He not so good at the points and or being an actual good defender, but he's really good at sitting down for 5 minutes at a time.
When it comes to fantasy, there's no point for defending.
That's true.
You get points and you go to the box and you block shots. And he's dumb enough he gets in the way of a bunch of them too.
By accident.
Mostly.
However, I do want to give him credit for yelling at the Toronto goalie last year. That was fucking hilarious. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And it's a picture. It's a picture that's going to be held in the memory forever because it's just like he just completely didn't pay attention to the play at all.
That was so good.
Staring at the Toronto goalie in the playoffs and just screaming at him for nothing, almost like Sean Avery doing this to fucking Brodeur.
I totally forgot about that. That was amazing.
Yeah. Well, that was a debacle of a game. It's too bad. The Flames looked like they were in control for like a couple seconds there. And then all hell broke loose and they decided to lose the game by not playing defense or making a save. So,
yep. That will happen when you start becoming complacent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. I think we're probably going to sign off. Good show. Unfortunate outcome for the Flames. Honestly, if you truly thought the Flames were going to make the playoffs this year, kind of a little bit crazy in my mind. But
That's on you, man.
here we are still struggling for a playoff spot. So no.
Yeah, I mean, my thought was if they weren't going to beat bottom 10 to get that pick, then they might as well make the playoffs. And here we are; they can't do either.
Not
there's so
bad
much
enough to tank, not good enough to be competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Flames hockey, baby.
It really is Flames hockey, baby. Yeah, thanks for joining. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. And yeah, see you soon. I think we probably do another post-game show if we can get around to it before the season ends. We'll see what the schedule is like, but I think we probably have another game mid next week. We can do another post-game show for, so we'll make sure to do that.
Yep. Sounds good. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for all the comments and getting active. We do like to have conversations with everybody.
Yeah.
Until next time, go
Cheers.
Flames.
Go Flames.